Picture this. It's the start of a new year and you finally decide, this is the year I finally get into data analytics. You open a few job postings and immediately feel overwhelmed. SQL, Python, dashboards, stakeholder communication. Where do I even start? That's where I come in. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a data analytics roadmap built around actual job responsibilities, so you'll know exactly what to learn and why. And at the end, I'll show you how to actually prove these skills to an employer, not just list them on your resume. The first job responsibility that you will see in almost every data analyst job posting is data collection and preparation. I would honestly question the job posting if you didn't see that. This is the first step of every data analysis project, and the goal is to retrieve, clean, and prepare data for analysis. The core skill that you need here is SQL. And if you're starting completely from zero with your analyst skills, SQL is the perfect place to start. You can start with the SQL basics like select statements and where clauses and the types of joins in SQL. And then when you're ready, you can move on to more advanced SQL concepts like CTEs and window functions and subqueries. I'll also mention here that the dialect of SQL that you choose, like MySQL or SQL Server, doesn't matter that much. Once you learn one of them, it's pretty easy to learn the syntax differences in the other ones if you need to use a different one on the job. The next job responsibility is exploratory and statistical analysis. The goal here is to take all that raw data you collected and cleaned in the last step and analyzing it to find trends and patterns in the data. Now there's three different skills you'll need here: statistics and a way to apply it, like Excel or Python. Now, if seeing stats as a skill scared you a little bit, don't worry, you don't need to have a PhD in math, but you do need to know basic descriptive statistics. These are things like measures of central tendency, think mean, median, and mode, measures of spread, like variance, and knowledge of the different distributions, like a normal distribution. Then, if you want to dive into more advanced statistical concepts and stand out a little bit more, you can start learning about basic probability concepts and hypothesis testing. After you have all that statistical knowledge, you'll need a way to actually apply it to the data. And one way to do that is using Excel. This is the less technical option, and it's a great place to start if you don't want to dive directly into programming. With Excel, you can start with things like aggregation functions like count and sum. You can also learn about Boolean logic like if-else statements. And you can also look into the more advanced functions like VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP. The more technical tool would be Python, specifically the Pandas, NumPy, and Stats Models libraries. The Pandas library will give you all the methods you need to actually manipulate the data, and then NumPy and Stats Models will give you all the statistic functions that you need. Next, let's talk about what's needed for data visualization. Here, the goal is to create charts that effectively communicate the insights in the data. Now, the first thing you'll need to know is the different types of charts and when to use them. You'll need to know about line charts and bar charts, scatter plots, pie charts, why you shouldn't use a pie chart, things like that. Then, to actually create all those visualizations, you can start to learn about dashboarding tools. These are tools like Power BI, Tableau, and Looker. And it doesn't really matter which one of these you learn. Similar to the dialects of SQL, once you learn how to use one dashboarding tool, you can pretty easily learn how to use a different one if you need to. Now, if you want a little bit more control over the visualizations you create, you can also learn a couple more Python libraries. You can learn Matplotlib, Seaborn, or Plotly for data visualization. On almost every data analytics job posting, you'll also see different job responsibilities surrounding communication. This will be listed as things like stakeholder communication or cross-functional collaboration. The goal here is to work with stakeholders to define data problems and assist decision-making using data. And these job responsibilities really involve your soft skills, because knowing Python and SQL is great, but eventually you will have to talk to another human being. And yes, you do need to know how to do that. Stakeholder communication and collaboration is generally broken up into 3 parts: requirements gathering, translating business needs into analytical questions, and communicating data insights. First, requirements gathering. This involves meeting with stakeholders, like the marketing department, for example, and understanding their business problems and their business needs, and identifying how data could help drive decisions. The skills you need here are domain knowledge, because to understand how data could help solve specific business problems, you need to know what kinds of business problems can exist in a specific industry. You'll also need to have good documentation skills, because you'll need to know how to effectively and efficiently document all of these requirements and user stories that you gather from meeting with the stakeholders. Once you define the requirements for a data project or an analysis, the next step is to translate those business needs or questions that you got from requirements gathering into analytical questions. This involves breaking down a broad business question into specific questions that can be answered using data. So for this, you'll need to know the different business metrics or KPIs used in a certain industry. For example, if you meet with the marketing department and they say, we want to know about our customer churn, you have to know how that company defines customer churn. Finally, after gathering the requirements and defining the analytical questions and running the analysis, the next step is communicating the insights. Here, you'll need to know how to create engaging slide decks, and you'll need to know how to tell a story with data. Finally, this wouldn't be a very effective roadmap if I didn't tell you how you can actually demonstrate all of these skills to a potential employer. And that is by creating a portfolio project or projects. A portfolio project involves finding a data set, asking questions about that data set, and then running an analysis on the data set. By doing this, you are actually showing how you would use Python or SQL to run an analysis. I would even take this a step further, and instead of just generating the code for your analysis, also generate a requirements document for the analysis and a presentation of the results that you found, as if you're actually running this analysis for a business stakeholder. And bonus points, if you are interested in doing analytics for a specific industry, look up general analytics problems or metrics that are used in that industry and create your portfolio project around that. A portfolio project is so important because it's one thing to say you know Python and SQL, but it's another to, as the kids say, show the receipts, or the proof that you can actually apply these skills to a real data analysis project. Finally, I want to address kind of the elephant in the room here, which is the AI of it all, because AI is a concern for both aspiring data analysts and for people that are already data analysts. Hi. So you still need to know how to write SQL and Python on your own, but once you learn how to use both of these tools, you can then use AI tools like ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude to write at least the skeleton code for you, and then you can edit it from there. You can also use it to help you make your presentations more engaging and effective. Now, the AI tools we use and how we use them is changing pretty rapidly, but what I can say is that you probably can't go into a job interview and say, well, I don't know SQL, but ChatGPT does. That probably won't work, at least not right now. So if this is the year you are going to get into data analytics, with this roadmap in hand, you now have no choice but to start. Sorry, I don't make the rules. And if you're ready to really dive in and start learning things like Python, I actually have a Python playlist and a Pandas playlist that you can start with. I also have an example of an exploratory data analysis project that you can use as inspiration for a portfolio project. I really hope that this roadmap helps you get started in data analytics. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.